Greetings to everyone. I want to again express my gratitude for the incredible community that is forming together as we explore these astrological changes that are guiding us through this time of transformation. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your participation in holding the energies of higher consciousness and supporting each other in this time. I also want to let everyone know that there are a few spaces still available in my upcoming training program, the Age of Aquarius Mystery School, in which we'll look at how do we work with the energies of the earth and sky to be in alignment, to be in harmony and balance as we move through this profound time of transition into the Age of Aquarius. Today, I want to talk about the powerful energies at play across these next few months and across the next few years. And in particular, I want to talk about what is going on with the energies of Uranus and Pluto in its exact square with Eris Xena. Let me start with Uranus. As we know, and as I've talked about in my previous video, Uranus is currently in the sign of Taurus. Remember that Uranus is that planet that guides us to see things clearly, to see the truth of what's going on, to break out of illusion and to break out of patterns that are destructive or ways that we may be out of alignment with our true selves or out of balance and out of right relationship with each other and the earth. So Uranus brings this clarity to help us break free from what is holding us back, to step more fully into truth, the truth of who we are, our authenticity, and to be able to see clearly what is going on around us. Uranus in Taurus speaks to the importance of our getting clarity about ways we are out of balance with the earth, Taurus. How are we in disconnection from the natural environment? How are we operating in ways that are destructive to the earth, our home, and to the earth's resources that sustain us, that feed us and nurture us and enliven us? Uranus in Taurus is also about how are we dealing with our finances, our resources in that sense, and are we living in a way that is in balance or out of balance, not only in our individual lives, but as a global community. Uranus in Taurus is also guiding us to have clarity about our own experience of our bodies and how we are in right harmony and right balance within our bodies. So we're really being guided to work those issues in this time. But I want to talk today also about where Uranus is in the sky, where it is in the constellations, and what that means for us. So if we look at literally where that planet is in the sky right now, you can see that it is between the stars of Cetus, the constellation of the whale, and Perseus, the warrior. This is a very powerful area in the sky. I monitor the energies as planets move through that part of the sky. And part of what I've come to understand is that area of the sky speaks so vividly and poignantly to the dangers of polarization. We understand the deeper meaning of that dynamic in the sky when we explore the myth of Perseus and Cetus. This myth comes to us from Greek mythology dating back to the 7th, 8th centuries BC. And remember, that time frame is coming to us from the Age of Aries. And then the last 2,000 years have been the age of Pisces, and now we're moving into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aries, the core paradigm of that time was that it was guiding us in how to explore our experience of individuation, how to come to understand our capacity to understand ourselves as distinct from what is around us. It's led to our incredible scientific exploration and discovery as we examine things and try to research things and understand our sense of self in relationship with those things around us. It's led to our experience of our own uniqueness, that we each are a unique expression of cosmic consciousness. Unfortunately, the shadow side of the Aries paradigm is not the experience of our individuation in the context of our being a part of the connection with all that is, but it can become that sense of disconnection and alienation from what is around us, so that then we get caught in a dynamic of polarization and of power struggle with an effort to be in control of my domain in order to protect myself from anything outside of me. And it has led to wars, it has led to conflicts, it has led to that hierarchical dynamic of power over, domination, that leads to increasing levels of violence, destruction, exploitation of the earth, and destruction of each other. Uranus in that part of the sky is saying it's time to stop. That theme of the shadow side of the age of Aries that's permeated through the age of Pisces, and we're still in it right now, it needs to stop so that we can come back into balance and harmony within ourselves and with each other. To really understand that dynamic, let's explore the myth of Perseus and Cetus. And I want you to listen to the myth and listen to what that tells you about the dynamic in the age of Aries, of the domination of the patriarchal paradigm and the devaluation of the sacred feminine. We needed in that age of Aries to explore the energies of the sacred masculine, because we had come out of the age of Taurus, immersion in the energies of the sacred feminine. So the age of Aries was about the need to balance that with the energies of the sacred masculine. But the sacred masculine gets distorted and becomes destructive when it becomes polarization and an effort to dominate and diminish the energies of the sacred feminine. And the energies of the sacred feminine are about our interconnectedness with all that is, about our deep relationship with Mother Earth, our awareness that everything around us, all of the life around us, is conscious and is an expression of cosmic consciousness, that we are all a part of that oneness of all that is. The story of Perseus begins with, we need to step back and talk about Medusa. Medusa in Greek mythology was one of 3 Gorgon sisters, and the root meaning of that is guardian. Medusa traces back to much more ancient cultures coming out of Libya in Africa. Medusa is an ancient archetype that has to do with a deep connection with the earth, with the sea, with the energies of the planet. One of the symbols associated with Medusa is the image of the serpent. which in patriarchal times becomes something evil and dangerous. But in more ancient cultures that honored the sacred feminine, the serpent is symbolic of our deep connection with the rhythms of the earth, the serpent lines of the earth, and also that deep connection with the serpent energies, the kundalini energies that are within us and rise up our spines, opening up our energy centers and leading us into expanded consciousness. So it's a sacred ancient symbol. But in the story, the Greek story, now in the patriarchal period, Medusa is one of 3 Gorgon sisters and is beautiful to behold. She goes to worship in the temple of Athena and is seen by Poseidon, who is the god of the sea. And in Greek mythology, he's a god of storms and earthquakes. And he sees Medusa and is attracted to her and ends up raping her. Athena is outraged that her temple has been defiled in that way. And so she puts a curse on Medusa and turns her face into this ugly face with eyes that are so fierce, if she stares at a man, it'll turn him to stone. And she changes her hair into these writhing serpents. So listen to how that sense of the sacred feminine is pitted against another ancient archetype of the sacred feminine and turned into something that took the archetypes that were beautiful and powerful and turned them into something destructive and evil. So Medusa now is this dangerous figure. Now we move ahead to this later scene where, through a whole series of events, Poseidon has caused the sea monster to come out of the deep, to be causing storms on the land, and is threatening to kill Andromeda, the princess, who's also caught in a dynamic of people being envious of her for her beauty. So the sea monster is coming to destroy Andromeda. Perseus, the warrior, the hero, wants to come and save the damsel in distress. But how can he slay this powerful sea monster, Cetus, this frightening whale from the deep? He goes and he slays Medusa to take her head, and that fierce stare that can turn anything that those eyes gaze at into stone. And he takes her head without looking into her eyes, and he goes to the edge of the sea, and he points the head of Medusa at Cetus the whale to destroy the sea monster and rescue Andromeda. And he becomes the hero. Listen to what that story is telling you. Perseus, the hero, the warrior, is in a power struggle with the whale, the energies of nature, of the deep sea. His task as the hero is to slay this whale from the ocean, to be in control, to protect the others in his community, and particularly Andromeda, and to conquer what is a threat in order to survive and have that sense of domination and control and conquest. Cetus, the whale, is depicted as a sea monster, as dangerous and destructive. And Cetus is very connected to the energies of the sea, which are now seen as stormy and chaotic and in danger of flooding the coastlines. Again, if we remember the energies of the sacred feminine, the whales are bringing us the wisdom of our origins, the wisdom of the deep sea. The humpback whales teach us the song of the seas that is carried from one side of the ocean to the other. The Australian Aborigines talk about finding their way on the land by listening to the song of the whales beneath the land in the deep sea. They speak to us of our origins, of our deep connection with the ocean, with Mother Earth. And through our deep connection with the Earth, we remember our connection with the other planets and other star systems that we are a part of. Connecting to the archetype of the whale reminds us of the wisdom of the sea. The archetype of the serpent reminds us of the wisdom of the land. And when we come back into right relationship with the sacred feminine, with the energies of the earth, we come back into balance and harmony and health and wholeness, and are able to open to that higher consciousness that connects us with the other life forms on the planet and the stars and planets that are beyond us. The sad thing about being locked in that narrow shadow side of the age of Aries is this fear-based paradigm that our reality is here on the surface of the planet, and that what is beyond us is dangerous, what is below us needs to be conquered, exploited, or destroyed so that we are in control and have a sense of security. It reflects a deep fear of the natural energies of the earth, a disconnection from the other life forms around us, and a fear of what's beyond us. It keeps us locked in to a very distorted experience of third dimensional reality. And it keeps us locked in to a paradigm of polarization, power over, power struggle, domination, exploitation, destruction. And it will lead to our own destruction if we do not break out of that paradigm. And Uranus, between Cetus the whale and Perseus, is saying, wake up. Look at what you're doing. Look at the destruction of this polarization. Look at where it will lead you. And look at how you can wake up and see the truth of what is going on around you, to shatter that illusion of disconnection and to come back in, to balance with the energies of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. That is a core theme of the age of Aquarius that we're moving into. How do we restore that balance between the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine? And what would that look like? To me, that integration enables us to understand the sovereignty of the self in the sanctity and unity of community. The sovereignty of the self in the sanctity and unity of community. In other words, the capacity to celebrate our unique expression of cosmic consciousness, our unique experience of that consciousness. There is no one else in the cosmos who is carrying the energies you uniquely carry. That is extraordinary. And we are all a part of the sea of the cosmic consciousness. We are a part of that community of conscious, sentient beings on this planet. We are part of that oneness. And when we remember that, then we realize that our survival and our capacity to thrive is dependent on our collaboration with the earth and the life around us, and our capacity to come back into right relationship with our bodies, with the earth, with each other, with all of life. Think about what is going on globally right now. Is that coming from a movement to come back into health and harmony and balance? Or is it the last gasp of that patriarchal paradigm striving for power, domination, control, and seeing what is outside of us as dangerous? We've been on a war against a virus for over a year now. Viruses are a part of the earth plane. They are a natural expression of the earth and are an integral part. Our bodies are made up of thousands, millions of viruses. We are them, they are us. We don't know whether this virus was genetically modified in a lab, and if so, it's a bioweapon. It's not a natural expression of the earth. Natural viruses strive to be in balance with their hosts because they don't thrive if we die. So we're really needing to understand the message and experience of the virus that is trying to guide us, if we are in right relationship, to get stronger in our own immunity and our own capacity to be in balance with our health. Because if we are in balance in our bodies and in right relationship with our bodies and our immune systems, we have nothing to fear. But when we begin to see the life outside of us as a threat, as a danger to be battled against, Perseus the warrior coming up with techniques to destroy the frightening monster, we are caught in that paradigm of polarization and destruction. What I'm saying in all of this is that we really need to look at the individual choices that we're making and where we are in our collective consciousness. Because I genuinely believe we are in an intense struggle right now between the awakening that we're moving into with the age of Aquarius and the capacity to step into an expanded consciousness and move into that fifth dimensional awareness of our oneness with all that is, and to live from the heart with love, and to be developing an experience of being on this planet that allows us all to thrive, and an experience on this planet that allows us to come into right balance and right relationship with each other again, in peace, with justice, being a part of the celebration of the diversity of our uniqueness and our experience in community, the sovereignty of the self in the sanctity and unity of community. But we also have the capacity to cling to the old paradigms in a way that will lead to increasing chaos and destruction and increasing intensification of that power over hierarchical dynamic that is harmful to us all. So as we navigate this, again, the key is not to get caught in polarization. I'm right, you're wrong. That's good, that's bad. We're all in this soup of the collective consciousness right now. We're seeing the play in the fourth dimensional reality of these archetypes, these energies, these emotions at work. And we each have to take responsibility for how we hold that wholeness. But the key is not to get caught in fear or that sense of disconnection, but to come back into the heart, come back into a deep connection with Mother Earth, come back into right alignment in your own body, and that remembrance that we are a part of all that is, and then allow your heart and your intuition to guide you in what choices and actions to take in this time that help you be in right balance and right harmony, help you be in right relationship with the earth and with those around you. If you find yourself caught in fear, caught in polarization, caught in this sense of something outside of you is dangerous, and you need to cling to something that will give you a sense of security, and you give your power away to something outside of you to protect you and to keep you safe, you're caught in a paradigm of fear and polarization in a way that will throw you more and more out of balance. So hold with compassion the intensity and turbulence of this time. But take enough time in your own silence to tune into your heart, to hold the wholeness of all that is, to step out of the polarization, out of that conflict between Perseus and the whale, to come back into right relationship and right balance. Think about a whole other way this story could have gone. There's a storm. The seas are rising on the coast. Instead of Perseus thinking the sea is dangerous and that sea monster is attacking us, what if he had gone down to the edge of the sea and been in communion with the whale, with the ocean, to say, what is going on in our relationship right now? Why are you so stormy? I do not want harm to come to my people. Help me understand what's out of balance. The ancient cultures understood that when we have storms, when we have earth changes that are activating chaos, it's a message to us. We are out of balance with the earth. It's just like when your body gets ill. Your body is the messenger saying, something is out of balance here. And most often, what happens when we get ill is that there's some imbalance energetically that then impacts us emotionally. We don't deal with it consciously. Our body ends up becoming the messenger. And when we can get to the root of what's out of balance here, our body can release that and we can heal. I've experienced this personally in my own life and seen it over and over again with others. That we have that capacity to listen to the messages from our bodies, listen to the messages from Mother Earth, to say, where are we out of balance? And how do we come back into right harmony? The earth is trying to wake us up to say, we've got to change our relationship with the planet now, or she's going to be fine, but we're not. So her storms, the climate change, is a wake-up call. So if we respond with fear and try even more to control the world around us, we increase that polarization and destruction. If Perseus could have stood by the shore and said, how are we out of balance? What do we need to do to change this? It would have shifted the dynamic. It's no longer Perseus, the hero, the whale, the dangerous enemy. It's, we're all part of this earth. How do we come back into right relationship? And think about if Perseus could have gone to Medusa to say, what is the wisdom that you carry that I need to become in balance in myself? And Medusa could have said, Perseus, you carry that understanding of the hero's journey, of the path of individuation, but you need to remember your deep connection with the earth, with your origins, with the ocean, with your connection with all of the life around you. And then you can use that energy of your hero's journey to be in right relationship with all that is, to be in your own adventure and exploration and discovery, to come back in to an even more expanded relationship with the life around you. This is what we're capable of. This is what we're being called into. This is a critical time. And Uranus is trying to wake us up and set us free. And Pluto is squaring Eris Xena in an exact square now for the next 2 months. Pluto and Capricorn break down those systems and structures that are out of balance, that are about domination, destruction, injustice, exploitation. Come back into right balance, right harmony. And Eris Xena is saying, step off the beaten path. Listen to your own creativity. Follow your own inner knowing. Let that guide you into these new paradigms that we can barely begin to comprehend. But we have such a capacity, a possibility as humanity to open to an expanded consciousness beyond our wildest imagination, to be in a relationship with the earth and the cosmos that allows us to reclaim our connection as beings of light, part of a galactic community. We can't fully see those forms yet, but we're on that path. And if we trust the journey and honor our hearts and our intuition, we will be guided into that new consciousness that is about the sovereignty of the self in the sanctity and unity of community. May we support each other in this time. May we listen to each other, honor each other, care for each other, not polarize each other. May we hold the wholeness and support each other in healing and moving through this transformation into the new birth of the new ways of being. Blessed be.